Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. We are going to discuss XRP. This is the one-day chart once more. Right now, the price is $2.29. To be honest, XRP is still doing pretty well at the moment. I had assumed that we would drop even further today. Additionally, the 7-day chart shows how XRP hit a new low before rising again. Will we descend further? As of yet, no one is truly certain. In addition, Bitcoin is currently trading below $107, and we continue to pay attention to it. Therefore, if Bitcoin keeps declining, we will follow suit. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but we are still a long way off. This market will eventually recover. When the government reopens, it might start. I'm hopeful that Paul Atkins at the SEC will expedite these spot XRP ETFs whenever that occurs. That's going to be the major trigger for this alternate season, according to everyone. President Trump claims that we will get along with China from this morning to this afternoon. He claims that he could advance China's deadline for 100% tariffs from November 1st later in the day. Was this then another attempt to manipulate the markets on a Friday? At the moment, I see a lot of individuals expressing that. As in the past, I believe the market will adjust to the tariffs. Recall that whenever he brought up tariffs, the market would immediately collapse. It appears to be adjusting to this situation once more at this point, but who can predict where we'll end up? Furthermore, it is currently anticipated that the US government shutdown would last for over 40 days. This would break the 35-day record set in 2019. All I really want is for the government to reopen. In this manner, everything returns to normal. We're also still awaiting clarification on cryptocurrency. Instead of starting this week as we all anticipated, it appears that will probably start to be pushed into 2026 ETFs in November. However, I believe that the reopening of the government might be bullish for cryptocurrencies and could start the market moving on its own because things will start to get done. And you believe that the latest liquidation was the end of the world. Listen to this out. And as usual, the unknown poses the most risk. In the years since COVID, we have learned a lot. Consider the unimaginable. I have no idea what the next shock will be. I'm not sure when it will happen, but I'm rather certain that it will be one and then verified. They are already warning you that the IMF will be the next big thing, and you can see her there with the ECB. They already anticipate a significant crash, after which I believe the new financial system will emerge. What's very humorous, you know? Oh, everyone said it's all about Ethereum. The future is Ethereum. XRP will never be used in the future. Check out Kevin O'Leary's music here. I predict that you will use blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to bring down Wall Street. For the past 12 years, we have been discussing going on-chain. Never took place. But now, thanks to the Genius Act's boost, people are beginning to utilize it as a digital payment method for the first time ever. And you have to go on-chain to accomplish that. You must access the Solana or Ethereum. You must put on-chain. You must buy and sell on-chain. And the reason I bring it up is because I've been worried for a while, and I've seen it before, that Ethereum, the largest blockchain if you think about ETH, is the one that's really fueled it. Perhaps 30% of all stablecoin transactions are settled, transferred, or paid on Ethereum. However, Ethereum itself became stuck during the weekend when there was significant volatility in the cryptocurrency market for a number of reasons. It became congested and overwhelmed, and a single-lane highway with a toll booth is the finest example I can think of to illustrate this. Every transaction on Ethereum is like a single-lane highway. However, they have to pass via the remote authentication toll booth. As a result, they must all pass through the toll booth. Additionally, it functions well in the absence of extreme volume or volatility. However, on Saturday, we experienced both extreme volatility and high volume. It became stuck. The highway was overflowing with automobiles. Because you can purchase your way to the front of the line to bypass the toll in addition to the fee, the cost of clearing one of those transactions is how you can determine if it's stuck. More than $1,000 was exchanged in one of those deals. Imagine having to pay $1,000 to utilize Ethereum while purchasing anything for $1.50. Ethereum is not the future because of this. It isn't designed to transfer global wealth. In addition to being slow and crowded, it is also highly costly. You know, you could promote it all day long in the news outlets. Every day, Tom Lee demonstrates why ETH is the way of the future. However, this is Ethereum's reality. It costs a lot and is slow. You may also make the same claim regarding Bitcoin. XRP is the future because of this. The following 2016-2017 positions are the most comparable to the correction and sideways movement as of 2025. If this keeps happening, it will drop for the following 2 to 3 weeks, remaining at about $2 before beginning to rise sharply in November. You can tell where it's heading from here if you look at this. Everyone just sits back and says that XRP will never get beyond $10, it will never rise beyond $50, it will never reach the 3-digit mark. However, guess what occurred back in 2017? Since its inception, XRP has risen from a fraction of a penny to $3+ in January 2018. Therefore, when people say that it is impossible based on past cycles and market capitalization, we already know that the market capitalization multiplier for XRP is significantly higher than what most people anticipate. There is a 400 or 500% market cap multiplier for XRP, which no one would ever anticipate. The next step will be the launch of those spot XRP ETFs, and they will be receiving institutional funds throughout the day. What do you believe will happen to XRP's price? It takes a parabolic turn. Additionally, Ripple Labs is spearheading a campaign to gather at least $1 billion in order to amass XRP. Upon initially reading this, I assumed that it was Ripple repurchasing its own shares. However, their true goal is to repurchase XRP. According to Vincent Van Code, it's fantastic. You might wonder why Ripple is purchasing XRP when they have over 30 billion in escrow and can readily access 500 million XRP every month. That's the exciting part then. By leveraging the SPAC to exert higher demand pressure on the open market, Ripple is boosting trust in XRP. The XRP will be extracted by them, either escrowing it, putting it into operations, or just keeping it in the SPAC as treasury. On the XRP ledger, they might even utilize it to accumulate massive LPs. Super positive indicator in any case. They won't purchase it on the open market the way many believe they will. This is the reason why the price of XRP won't increase significantly. However, this demonstrates Ripple's strong belief in XRP. That indicates that the cryptocurrency you are holding is the correct one. Ripple's client list plus 1000 G Treasury are instantly available, and have a peek at a few of these clients of G Treasury. The big pharmaceutical business Pfizer was the one that truly caught my attention. However, this list also includes a number of other large corporations. In essence, Ripple simply collaborated with each and every one of them. You're still pessimistic about XRP too. This, after all, demonstrates what is going to occur. Ripple simply put themselves in a great position to compete with Swift. Additionally, according to Johnny Deaton, this is not the final transaction. Hidden Road was purchased by Ripple for $1.25 billion, clearing multi-asset infrastructure through prime brokerage, $200 million rail to support infrastructure payments for the Ripple stablecoin, enhances its competitiveness in stablecoin-based payments by adding a virtual account and an automated backend, $250 million for Medico. Institutional custody services and cryptocurrency custody tokenization have given Ripple a dominant position in the institutional custody sector. Stablecoin backing infrastructure and standard custody and trust regulations for digital assets. Regulatory licensing trust services and crypto infrastructure for Fortress Trust, Algorand. Creation of cryptocurrency markets, trading, talent engineering, trading tools, and liquidity enhancement. I don't think Garlinghouse is finished either, to mention a few. By the end of this year, Ripple will probably have acquired at least one additional business. Additionally, they plan to make additional acquisitions in 2026. Brian Ballard, a leading Trump lobbyist, was hired by Ripple to help create crypto regulations in the US. Now Ripple and Trump are invited to the White House gala. As you can see, on November 13th, Ripple Labs, which was sued by the SEC in 2020 for allegedly breaking securities laws through the sale of one of its currencies, hired longtime Trump associate Brian Ballard to advocate for the regulation of digital assets, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and associated laws. That was yet another calculated move on the part of Ripple.